Mommy, Poppy, it's your boy, your wisest astrologer. Don't you care? Really, don't you care? Oh, well, I'm glad you care. Mars is in Cancer direct again after being retrograde, and it's making a 120-degree trine to Saturn in Pisces again. Mars in the sign of Cancer is actually transiting my 7th house, so I do want you to care. I do want to do what it takes to get you to care. Even though Mars in Cancer can make you moody and angry if you don't eat, or if I look at your breasts the wrong way, that's part of the process, you know. Of course you know. Hey, I'm just here to validate your emotional angst. Well, holy areola, wise ass. If Mars in Cancer is now direct, why are we getting angry at people and accusing people of looking at our breast retrograde? That is a direct question, and I will try to give you the best answer I can. The sign of Cancer presides over the breast. But wise ass, the sign of Cancer presides over the stomach and esophagus too. The sign of Cancer does preside over the stomach and esophagus too. Yes, it does, my heartburn baby. Yes, it does. And as sexy as your spicy stomach acid is when it comes up out your nose, and as hot as your hot histamine receptors are when they trigger a hot, dripping wet sneeze, the YouTube algorithm likes it better if I say breast at least 5 times in the first minute of the video. So, as I was saying, Cancer presides over the breast. Yo, what presides over the eyes, wise ass? Well, Aries presides over the eyes and the nose, ears, sinuses, and brain as well. I bring this up because Mars always rules anything in the sign of Aries. So while Mars is now direct in the sign of Cancer, Mars in Cancer is ruling a now retrograde Venus in Aries until March 26th, at which point it will retrograde back into Pisces. Which means that our breast, our nipples, are sending out an aggressive, in-your-face vibe. And people are looking at our breast, our lunar missiles, with shifty glances, tongue-tied as they try to compliment us. But I'm not tongue-tied. Your breasts are visually appealing to me. Whatever gender you are, woman, man, non-binary, or Ringo, I want you to know that I'm staring at your breasts through your computer screen, and I find them very visually appealing. They even smell nice, too. And my brain is sending warm telepathic compliments. That's what Mommy's telling you, Poppy. If you like what you see, and you like what you hear, don't hesitate to give compliments. That's what Venus in Aries is all about, Buttercup. You photobombing Buttercup on wheels, you? You Venus in Aries, you? Alright, so speaking of wheels, now let's talk about Poppy and his feet. Oh, how pleasant. So before we get into describing this particular Saturn-Mars trine aspect, let's firmly establish Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces does give our feet some spiritual gravity, some gravitas. Every time we come grooving up slowly, schlepping up the street, our stepping commands respect. And for those of you who are into buttering up Poppy's feet, early April when Venus and Mercury are back in Pisces with Saturn is a good time to get a foot massage. Alright, now on to this Saturn in Pisces, Mars in Cancer trine. So Saturn in Pisces is making a 120-degree flowing trine to Mars in Cancer, just kind of absorbing it. The aspect is the trine, so Poppy is just kind of vibing with it. You know, vibing. Shit, I gotta explain it to you? Alright, for fuck's sakes. Alright. Saturn in Pisces says to Mars in Cancer, bring it on, motherfucker, you ain't gonna sink me. Motherfucker, you ain't gonna sink me. I thrive off your moodiness. Wherever you find your inner Poppy right now, you'll hear Saturn in Pisces saying just that. I kid you not. Poppy ain't playing. Poppy's got his feet glued to the surfboard. Hang 10, yeah? When people say mahalo, Big Daddy, respect, it means something. With Saturn in Pisces, the respect is under the soles of our feet. With Saturn in Pisces, the feet loves to grip that surfboard tight. And when Mars in Cancer, the sign ruled by the moon, the mood, the emotions, the tides are rolling. The waves are bitchin'. Yeah, man, that's a bitchin' wave, but somebody's gotta cruise it. When we accept that responsibility, we'll be cruising like a motherfucker. Mars in Cancer can use its bosom to motherfuck you up and emotionally bully you. Or it could use its bosom to motherfucking care for you. And hopefully motherfucking care for me as well. It all depends how it feels. It also depends how you use your own birth chart, your own moon. It's the mood, it's the tone. Mars in Cancer can be a moody, forceful wave, for sure. But guys, if you tell your woman, don't be bitching at me, she might be like, what the fuck did you just say to me? I don't like your tone. So change your tone, surfer boy. Tell your chick, tell your gal, whoa, baby, you're a bitchin' wave, and I totally want to ride your tide. And you'll get a wave-positive response, and a sex-positive response. You'll no longer be just some random surfer dude. You'll be a surfer man. Mars in Cancer will put some hair on her nipples when Saturn in Pisces rides the waves with respect. Don't be hating on random, wise ass. I'm not hating on random. I'm not hating on random, my Gemini dudes and dudettes. I know Jupiter's still in Gemini. I know Jupiter is still both ruling and making a 90-degree square to Saturn in Pisces. It has been for the last year. I'm just saying if your hands are randomly snapping at every little thing, you better be able to tap your toes like a motherfucker. If your lungs are going to breathe in all these different ideas, you better be ready to accept the facts. Our feet are not going to fuck with fools with no soul. We can channel a lot of different things on this YouTube channel, but we're not going to channel no schmageggies. That's what Jupiter in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces is all about. Because look, with Jupiter in Gemini, the hands want to connect with a lot of different ideas, and the lungs want to breathe in the rhymes that are floating in the air. You see those anonymous ads in the city paper, from a random dame or random dude down for some dim sum with a randy dominatrix, which is the Jupiter in Gemini variety platter, swatting your ass in all kinds of new ways, while Saturn in Pisces is absorbing it, trying to keep its feet there on the ground. If you come during happy hour, it's a discount from 2 to 4. It's a distraction. It's something different. It's versatile. It's vermicelli. It's Gemini. It's Jupiter. It can go in a lot of different directions. Okay, but is that really a spiritually grounding way of absorbing things? We can try a lot of new things with Jupiter in Gemini, but the thing with Saturn in Pisces is that we don't want our soul to be a spiritual masochist for our teacher's random bullshit, because our teacher doesn't know their own way. Sometimes the person who is supposed to be teaching us is just looking for a distraction and not making connections that are authentic. Sometimes the person who is supposed to be our teacher isn't a hip wise ass like us. I'm not going to beat your ass up over trivial bullshit. Your wise ass doesn't need to suffer that, you beautiful buttery beatnik. You beautiful buttery beat poet you. I've been beating the drum over the last year about being flexible and adaptable as we navigate with our hands and keep bouncing back up on our feet, no matter what life throws us. Sometimes we see Poppy taking a lot of shit from a lot of different people, sometimes taking shit from Mommy too. And we're like, Poppy, you gonna take that bullshit? But Poppy knows. Poppy's a seasoned surfer and an experienced boxer. Sometimes Poppy has to take a lot of things from all different angles. But Poppy will tell you this, that if you bounce on your feet, you'll be the one left standing in the end, after you take everything the wind throws at you, because you've seen all the tricks before. Saturn in Pisces can accept a lot, and with Jupiter in Gemini, we've got a lot of lung stamina now, and we'll always bounce back up on our feet like a champ. So you gotta stick and move and bob and weave till the tornado collapses from exhaustion. If you know the tornado's moves and you see it coming, stay up on your feet and don't engage in its tricks to suck you into its vortex. That's what Poppy is telling you. I've seen it all before, son. It's just a different arrangement, baby boy. And that's what I tell people when I'm doing chart readings for them. Except they're usually grown-ass women. They come over to me, they take a swig of whiskey, and they say, "Doesn't my natal chart intimidate you? I bet you haven't seen anything like it before." And I look these women straight in the eye, and I tell them, "I have seen it all before, son. It's just a different arrangement, baby boy." And then I allow myself to focus on reading their chart while trying not to look at their breasts the wrong way. Jupiter in Gemini gives us an array of opportunities. Saturn in Pisces is about accepting focus, accepting facts, and being sensitive to facts. So sure, I have to be sensitive to the fact that the globe's spinning on a very passionate nipple right now. A very, very passionate nipple. I'm feeling you, world. I'm feeling you, nipple world. But through all the distractions, we still have to accept some baseline of focus. Some want to emotionally bully you, and some want to actively care for you and keep you grounded and on your feet through whatever comes your way, whenever it comes your way. Maybe it's a random opportunity, and that's cool, but you still need someone or some caring force there to keep you grounded. Now, I talked in my last video on Mars in Cancer about how Mars in Cancer is not just about nurturing the passion in your breast. It's also about nurturing the passion in your stomach, getting the stomach acids going, the histamine receptors going, and via Mars' rulership of Aries, it gets our sinuses going. Chocolate is a food that gets our stomach acids going, and it contains theobromine, and so it stimulates the brain, also via Mars' rulership of Aries. Just be careful about getting dehydrated and getting headaches. Foods like tomatoes can get our stomach acids going, and via Mars' influence in Scorpio can also be good for our prostate because tomatoes have lycopene. Lycopene is especially high in tomatoes that are cooked into an intense, concentrated form. Hey, tomato head, are you concentrating intensely on what I'm saying? Focus. Concentrate. Focus. Concentrate. Double concentrated tomato paste. Triple concentrated tomato paste. Estrato di pomodoro from Sicily, which is intense, but really good. If we were contemplating heating up frozen tomato products that were sitting in our freezer while Mars was retrograde in Cancer, well, now it's time to heat them up. Frozen comfort foods like Stouffer's classic meatloaf. It's fucking classic. Frozen lasagna. Frozen ketchup. Hey, wise ass, well, if chocolate is good for your brain and tomato is good for your prostate and Mexican food is comfort food, where can I get a gallon of cocoa mole breast milk? You know, when I'm depressed and want my mommy. Yeah, I don't think you can get cocoa mole breast milk in the refrigerator section of your grocery store. Hey, wise ass, should I shove a frozen bottle of ketchup up my boyfriend's ass because it's good for his prostate? No, I'm just saying with Mars and the Sun of Cancer, you can eat foods that both activate your stomach acid and may improve prostate health because they are high in lycopene. Foods like cooked tomatoes. If you want to take that suggestion and somehow turn that into shoving a frozen bottle of ketchup up your boyfriend's ass, I do not condone that, and I will not be held responsible for that. You know what? Let's just move on to the moon transits. The moon transits are important now because the moon rules Mars in Cancer. So we have to channel this lunar energy that changes every couple of days to get ourselves going. Okay, so I'm going to do the transits of the moon through all the signs, starting with the new moon in Aries. But the moon transits for the last several signs will precede Aries in time. So for this Aries new moon on March 28th. Okay, so we can get emotionally impulsive. But sometimes we have to remember that there are emotions that are driving our impulses. When the moon is in Aries and Mars is in Cancer, they are in mutual reception. They are in each other's sign. So it's like the age-old question. What came first, the dictator or his mother? Mommy, of course. Ruthless dictators and bullies can conquer many lands without feeling, but they can't conquer their Oedipal complex. I know we can sometimes get angry at dictators. How many times during the day do you hear people saying, "Fuck you, Genghis Khan, you motherfucking dictator, it's all your fault"? You hear that a lot from people on the street these days, right? But look, maybe Genghis Khan has an Oedipal complex and just needs a motherly hug. The moon in Aries needs to hear things. We have to hear that emotional tone, to reset our brain, to remind us to feel before we act. So with Mars in Cancer trining Saturn in Pisces, sometimes the world has to say, "Come on, Genghis Khan, you motherfucking dictator. Bring it in. Let mommy give you a hug. Mommy accepts you, Genghis Khan. Mommy will make you her special Mongolian matzo ball soup, and you can suck on mommy's matzo balls so you won't commit any more 13th century genocide." And when the moon moves into Taurus on March 28th and rules this Cancer Mars, you can get stuck in the breastfeeding phase. So some say you're an emotionally steady motherfucker, but maybe you're just stuck. With the moon in Taurus, steady emotional nourishing comes through the jaw and the throat. We can get stuck in the breastfeeding phase. We can get stuck eating the same candy even after the holiday party is over, because we want the pleasure to emotionally nourish us again and again. The moon in Taurus values its nourishing time. And with Uranus also in Taurus, its oral values can be a bit unusual, and it will vocally repeat things over and over until it gets nourishment and orally craves. During Christmas, it's ho, ho, ho. During Valentine's Day, it's love, love, love. And the feelings can linger long after the holiday has ended. If it's a feeling of passion, great. But if it's anger, try not to let that linger too much. So I have Chocolate Santa here that got stuck in the discount aisle at the supermarket. So I rescued him, because I'm a great person. But listen, Santa, supermarket Santa, don't call your mother a ho, 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 and she will accept you and love you even after Christmas and Valentine's Day. Even after the rest of the world's supermarkets has reduced your value by 90%. This spring, Mommy will be your Easter bunny. Mommy will be your Playboy bunny. Your possessive mommy will be the only supermarket you need. Yeah, okay, you possessive mommies. About that, listen, here's the thing. The moon and Uranus in Taurus can make things strangely homogeneous. And it might be comforted by the repetition and familiarity of a possessive mommy. I get that. But if your Easter eggs and your guy's matzo balls are from the same gene pool, nature isn't really thrilled with that. Nature is comforted by Jupiter and the moon in Gemini because it feels the big picture spread out in many different baskets. In the long run, diversity is good for genetics. On April 1st, the moon's in Gemini. Yeah, whatever, Mom. Really, whatever mom, whatever mood, just be there to care at the right time. People can call us a lot of different names based upon their mood. And generally it's like, yeah, go with the flow. Call me a hoe, I'll go with the flow. A little bit here, a little bit there. A little bit country, a little bit rock and roll. Well, you're a little bit of a cunt today, aren't you, wise ass? Piss off, mate. Don't call me a cunt. And don't call my fans cunts either. Because while we got to do a lot of different things to care for ourselves sometimes, and care for others, that's how we rock and roll. That's how we flow. But we don't accept when someone is trying to spiritually humiliate us. That's when Saturn in Pisces puts its foot down. We're flexible and accepting, sure. But don't call mommy a cunt. Have a baseline level of respect. The moon goes into the sign of Cancer on April 4th, and when Saturn in Pisces makes a trine to Mars and the moon in Cancer, we have to accept nourishment that no one else wanted. Nourishment that falls to our feet. You see, my dad has his Mars in the dear old sign of Cancer. My dad's mommy, my paternal grandmother that would be, she had her Mars in the sign of Cancer too. And her sister, my dad's aunt, well, she also had her Mars in the sign of Cancer. And my dad's brother, well, you probably guessed it, he also has his Mars in the sign of Cancer. Although I'm not currently speaking with my dad's brother because he acted like a moody jerk towards me. But anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is because my paternal grandmother had her Mars in the sign of Cancer, like I said. And when she passed away several years back, she left a bunch of lean cuisine frozen dinners in her freezer. And I accepted those frozen dinners because they were nourishing and practical, and that's what Grandma would have wanted for me. So don't be afraid to accept your dead grandmother's frozen dinners at the bottom of her freezer. That's the biggest thing you should take away from Mars in Cancer, trine Saturn in Pisces. On April 6th, we have the Sun in Aries, Moon in Leo, and Mars in Cancer in a dispositor loop or cycle. We've got to reset our vision. We've got to get our circulation going. We have to get out ahead of things and be comfortable being at the center of attention while we do it. If we are being entertaining, so what if people are staring at our breast? Hey, wise ass, nobody's staring at your breast. That's a good point. Nobody is staring at my breast. So my mother, right, her vision started to go, and she couldn't be a pharmacist anymore. And she had to accept the reality of that. But she loved to dance, and she needed to stay up on her feet and keep her circulation going. So she reinvented herself as a go-go dancer. So what if she wore skimpy outfits and people stared at her breasts when she was dancing? Her heart was into it, and she was entertaining. On April 8th, we have the Moon in Virgo ruling Mars in Cancer, with Mercury in Pisces and Jupiter in Gemini in a mutual reception. This can go a lot of different ways. With the Moon in Virgo and Mars in Cancer, the abdomen and midsection brings a motherly vibe. And yes, with the Pisces Mercury and Gemini Jupiter, there are a lot of distractions to absorb. We can absorb things from a lot of different directions that can make us self-conscious about our midsection. Some men have fetishes for pregnant women. They're attracted to a woman's pregnant belly, their mommy bush, and they find their swollen nipples a turn-on. And they will flirt with any random pregnant woman they see. And some of these pregnant women can get really annoyed. They are stressed out enough as it is, with that strange dudes hitting on them in the supermarket. And then there are some other men that say they are repulsed by their pregnant wives or postpartum wives, much to the annoyance of their wives who already feel hyper-aware of their midsection, and who already feel like picking away at the appearance of their midsection. And they can become very depressed. So Saturn in Pisces puts its foot down and tells us not to accept non-spiritual losers, and not to accept superficial losers. You are more than just a fetish. Don't accept anybody criticizing you or superficially fetishizing you for having a maternal body, especially a maternal abdomen. Now on April 10th to the 13th, the full moon in Libra culminates with a T-square, with the Libra moon ruling and squaring Mars in Cancer, and with Mars in Cancer ruling and squaring the Sun in Aries. It's about seeing when you or someone else needs to rehydrate, and then taking action. Now to do this, we have to be nice, courteous, and caring, but in a way that shows off how take charge we are, that shows off how visual we are. For example, here's what not to say with these transits. I noticed right away that your breasts are very sweaty. Can I get you some water or something? No, if I see that your breasts are sweaty, I shouldn't ask if you want water. I should just fucking get it. On April 13th to April 15th, Moon in Scorpio, guest starring in a 360-degree production. I'm coming to you in a flowing grand trine of water with Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces. 120, 120, 120. 360. Moon in Scorpio, Mars in Cancer, in each other's signs. Mothering your sexual outlet. Mothering your intestinal outlet. Well, holy colonoscopy, wise ass. Moon in Scorpio and Mars in Cancer, in each other's signs. It's about bending over and accepting it up the ass from mama, right? Well, no, because even though Pisces is about accepting things, Texas Tommy, it's Saturn in Pisces, not Jupiter. Oh, heck, wise ass, we've been eating them Texas tomatoes for our prostate health like you said, like you done told us. Our prostate is in good shape, and I want some nourishing action, some Moon in Scorpio, Mars in Cancer action. Look, when you're having sex in the garden, in the back of your ranch house down there in Texas, Saturn in Pisces plants its feet in the soil, and your feet thinks to itself, what great fucking soil, great fucking soil, great fucking dirty dirt, wonderful. This soil can yield so many varieties of tomatoes. But then you also have to accept reality. And the reality is that the weather in Texas is too hot for big boy and beefsteak tomatoes to grow. So what I'm saying is that as much as Jupiter and Gemini wants to explore all different varieties, there are limits you have to accept. What are these Saturn and Pisces limits during this grand trine? As far as limits go, yes, a 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola is not something you should try to accommodate up your ass. I'm hoping you don't need a wise-ass astrologer to tell you that. But if you do, that's what I'm here for. In fact, tell your friends what great astrological advice I give on my channel. While the Moon in Scorpio reminds us that Saturn in Pisces is about accepting challenges when it comes to accommodating things, yeah, sure, but it's also about accepting limits about what you accommodate and focusing on accommodating what you already have, instead of looking to accommodate something that serves no purpose, up your ass. Okay, but who am I to lecture you on what serves a purpose up your ass? Because idealistically, the aspect of Jupiter in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces wants people to be flexible enough to accept any challenge, no matter how big or how small. And when the Moon is in Scorpio during this time, we learn there are all kinds of shapes and sizes to accommodate vaginally and anally, and vice versa. There are all kinds of sizes of vaginas and anuses. Allow yourself to focus on whatever size and shape you accept or accept you in, be it sex toys, hands, human penises or alien penises, human vaginas or alien vaginas, human anuses or presidential anuses. As long as it's a caring experience, it will spiritually ground you. Saturn in Pisces is about staying on your toes and clamping down when you find yourself accepting too many miscellaneous or superficial experiences. Saturn in Pisces has limits, but it also likes challenges. If you are challenged by a partner who is much larger than what you are used to accommodating, deep breathing with Jupiter in Gemini is important. Deep breathing is where Jupiter in Gemini has the diaphragm contract and tilt the pelvis forward to relax the pelvic floor before it clamps down on what you're accommodating. As far as sufficient vaginal lubrication, that obviously helps too, but right now that depends on Mars in Cancer. If you're not emotionally into it right now, your vagina is not going to be lubricated and not going to accept any challenges. On April 15th to April 17th, Jupiter in Gemini is ruling and opposing the moon in Sagittarius. So in his natal chart, the musician Paul Simon has Jupiter in Gemini ruling and opposing his Venus in Sagittarius. He wrote a song called 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. But when Jupiter in Gemini is ruling and opposing the moon in Sagittarius, it's 50 ways to leave your mother. Women watching this video who wish their significant other would break free of their mother's grip and go on a journey with them instead, well, there are so many different things that you can do to help with that process when the moon is in Sagittarius now. So for the last few moon transits, I'll cycle back to March 22nd and go from there. From March 22nd to March 24th, the moon in Capricorn ruling and opposing Mars in Cancer, with Jupiter in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces. Just because people are connected to a lot of different things and up to date on current ideas doesn't automatically make them sensitive and caring. They can't just frivolously smack you on the ass with a copy of Psychology Today. Sensitivity is a serious thing. Our feelings need to be respected. There has to be some standards for caring. Maybe your dominatrix is distracted or your caretaker is overextended. Perhaps they wake you up in the morning by saying, "How are your balls feeling today? How are your ovaries feeling today? Are you going to cry for me? Are you going to come for me? Are you going to lactate for me? Hurry up, I have a very important business meeting to attend. I have so many important people to connect with." You tell them, fuck you, you status-tripping dom. Fuck no, I'm not going to lactate for you. And I'm not going to come for you. And I'm not going to cry for you if you don't take care of me seriously. Have some respect for my feelings, or I won't pour out any emotional effort. That's what you tell them. They can't just be sensitive when it's expedient for them, their schedule, and their Q rating. But with the moon in Capricorn and Mars in Cancer, we do have to be careful about playing the pity party card too much in an attempt to be nurtured. Oh, look at poor wise ass. He comes on the YouTube, looking for someone to say that they care about him in the comments section. No, it's okay. You don't have to say you care about me. You don't have to say you love me. But I do like the song You Don't Have to Say You Love Me by Dusty Springfield, because it's a good song, you know. Although it was actually adapted from an Italian song that was composed by Pino Donaggio, who has his natal moon in Aquarius. For the Aquarius moon on March 24th, Mommy's got rules, a system for putting yourself together. That maternal vibe needs to be coordinated. For this particular Aquarius moon, it's hands, feet, calves, boobs. Coordinate the gloves with the shoes with the stockings, and the stockings with the bra. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. 3, 4, bra-bra-bra. We care about what we do, but it helps if we have a flexible and accepting culture that supports that. Like mommy's stockings. That's a flexible and supportive culture. With this Aquarius moon, it's a mother without an ego. It's being accepting, not because it gives you attention for the sacrifices you make, but because it builds a culture where people can care. There's a spiritual collective that's protecting you. On March 26th through March 28th, Mars in Cancer is ruled and trined by the moon in Pisces, with Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in Gemini. So the lungs, hands, and feet for sure. But it's so much more than being accepting of foot massages, foot fetishes, and mommy complexes. Is that all you fucking talk about, wise ass? No, I talk about football too. So our football team won the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champs. And I got this t-shirt at the parade. It says, "Bitch, I'm an Eagle." And on the other side, it says, "Blow the motherfucking whistle." That's how we talk on the streets here in Philly. So Mars in Cancer says, "Bitch, I'm an eagle. I've got eagle eyes. I'm going to protect you. I'm a lifeguard." Jupiter in Gemini says, "I'll be everywhere at once and be at the right place at the right time. And I will use my lungs to blow the motherfucking whistle on accepting bullshit." Saturn in Pisces isn't going to accept bullshit trying to sink us. The moon in Pisces allows us to accept a caretaker like Mars in Cancer to fight for us and protect us. Like our great Philadelphia Eagles defense that stopped the Kansas City Chiefs offense and blew the whistle on their Super Bowl run. The Kansas City Chiefs were trying to sink the NFL with a three-peat, trying to win our third Super Bowl in a row. And we, the Philadelphia Eagles, blew the whistle on that shit. And as great as that Super Bowl win was, it's still not as great as the Beatles. The working title for the classic Beatles film, Help, was 8 Arms to Hold You, which reminds us that this Mars in Cancer, trine Saturn in Pisces, still has the Jupiter in Gemini vibe. We want someone to hug us, to care for us, to save us. But who is legit? When we yell help, there are so many arms reaching out to connect. But are they all legit options? Sometimes you accept whoever reaches out to grab a hold of you in your time of need. Which arm cares about you? Perhaps they all do, even though it could be distracting. Except that it's a great time to have any arm, be it 1 arm, 2 arm, or 8 arms to hold you and care about you. Any arm. Whatever arm comes your way, as long as it has a spiritual and mothering touch. So peace, love, stars, and listen to the Beatles. And listen to me arrange 8 levels of my mother complex at the piano.